Hello again, I'm still Ben, back to the hatch to see what our topic is today. I can tell you this, I can't see them as they're bouncing around, but there's only 3 more pieces of paper in this hat. Violent crime versus non-violent crime. Well, now see, I think I talked about this subject too already, at least in some regard, in a different video. So if you haven't seen that one yet, I'll repeat the basics here, but I do have a video where I kind of go over, it's the video about prisons, I believe, because I had to talk about why prisons are inappropriate. So please go watch the prison and exile video as well. But I believe this is where we really need to differentiate the future of our peaceful society. Much, much harsher sentencing for violent criminals and pretty much community service for everything else. If you're not committing a violent crime, then the crime you're committing is probably a policy error somewhere else. It's because you're not getting something you need, so you had to steal it, or you had to do something else, or you didn't get the mental help you needed, or you were under too much stress. Like, there's a million other things that we have called crime and things that we have criminalized that should not be at all. And as long as it's not violent, as long as you're not being violent about your crime, then I think community service is the only sentencing that makes sense. You shouldn't put you in a prison in the first place. You should be out fixing something else. If you've got so much energy or so much needs for these other things, then you're going to have some kind of community service in order to keep you going. But even then, that's because these nonviolent crimes are going to be more policy failure centric. The community didn't get what it was asking for, didn't get what it needed. When people have everything they need and all the basics, they don't commit all that much crime. We're only seeing, massive white collar crime because the people who have gone so long with so much are bored and they're stupid. So they just are trying to find something to do, and the only thing left for them to do is try to rig a system or play some sort of criminal game, because to them nothing else is exciting. They've completely insulated themselves away from normal society. So the violent crime is where we have to draw the stricter line from now on, because if we want to live in a peaceful society, we have to insist that it remain peaceful. If you're a violent criminal, especially a repeat violent criminal, I don't think you should be allowed to stay in society at all. I think it should be, back in the day where you got kicked out of the settlement, and you had to go live off, out in the wilderness. If we can prove that you continue to be violent and you don't have any remorse or any intention to reform this behavior, then why should the rest of society allow you to stay here? I think, again, please see the video with exile in the title, because that's the topic at hand here. But that's really what we need to do in order to fix a lot of our justice system problems, is draw this line and kind of, make it easy to see the difference. We have to punish violent crime much more strictly than nonviolent crime. And I don't mean like break-in windows violent crime. I mean violent crime, being violent to your fellow human beings, being violent to your fellow living creatures. That's violent crime. Breaking in and looting a place, that's stealing. That's not violent, But even then, people don't do that unless they don't have enough themselves. If they already have enough at home, why would they have to get up, go out, go to the store, put a mask on, break in the store? Like, that's more work. Nobody wants that. Okay, you have to understand that these kinds of things are our government's failures, intentional a lot of the time failures for our communities. That's why they're bad. That's why they won't do the violent criminal kind of sentencing, because most of them are all violent criminals. Anyway, my name is Ben Howison. Sursum Corda.